In this video, you're going to learn how to make your images vibrant without any expensive camera or fancy color correcting tools. Watch this full video to use this information to get the best detail and color out of your photos. At the end of this video, I'll show you a trick I use all the time. And once you know it, you'll never waste time calibrating a monitor again. Alright guys, let's start with what is white balance. White balance is simply adjusting your photograph to the natural colors of the sun and the moon, so your images fit what we as humans are used to seeing. Tip number 1. Match the time of day. In the morning, the sunlight has bluish tones. Mid-afternoon, it's more like white. And in the evening, it's more like orange and reddish tones. Our eyes adjust instantly to these changes, but our camera just doesn't. That's why you need to tell your camera what light you are shooting in, so the whites stay white and all the other colors stay true. But here's the thing, I don't want my whites to always stay white. In fact, the best images I've ever made came when I broke that rule. I'll show you how in just a second. Tip number 2. Lock it at 5600K. Most of us change our white balance settings all the time in the middle of the shoot. I don't. I lock my camera to 5600K for everything. Whether I'm shooting in the morning, whether I'm shooting in the evening, whether I'm shooting in the afternoon, it's at 5600K. Why? Because I shoot in RAW. And because of that, the white balance information is not baked into the file. That gives me my God-given right to be an artist and change whatever I want. And shooting in RAW, I can adjust it freely in post without losing any quality. By keeping it at 5600K, I have a consistent starting point every single time. No surprises, no weird color shifts. And locking it like this gives me more creative control later. In fact, the next tip will show you how I can change the entire mood on a photo with just one slider. Tip number 3. Use white balance to shape mood. This is where most of us stop, thinking white balance is just to get the colors accurate. But for me, it's one of the most powerful creative tools. If I want the image to feel calm and distant, I'll move the temperature towards blue. If I want the image to feel warm and inviting, I'll move it towards orange. And the tint slider, that's where the magic happens. A touch towards green gives me an earthy, grounded feeling, while a touch towards magenta will add romance and elegance. They are subtle moves, but it can completely change how your audience feels about your image. But wait, this is just the beginning. I can take the exact same photo and process it two completely opposite ways. One warm and one cool. And when I combine them, the results are pure magic. That's the next step. Okay, tip number 4. Blend opposite white balance for depth. Here's what I do. I take the warm image and I take the cool image and I open them both in Photoshop. Then I take one and put it on top of the other one as a layer. Once they are stacked together accurately, then I start playing with the opacity. Sometimes that's all it takes. If opacity does not give me exactly what I want, then I start brushing away the top layer to reveal the bottom one in different opacities. But remember, the opacity increments have to be very, very low. Sometimes I'm as low as 10, 12, even 6, so it blends in naturally. I keep adjusting until the balance feels right. Sometimes this takes hours, sometimes it takes days, and sometimes, believe it or not, it takes weeks. Just because it has to be absolutely accurate. The feeling, the emotions has to come with the warmth and the coolness. You do it slowly, you even walk away if you want. I do that. I brush it in, I feels normal. I will shut it down for a day and then I'll come back and I'll look at it and all of a sudden I can see all the imperfections. So then I'll start all over again. I'll start brushing again and again and again until it gives me that emotion, that feeling. And that feeling will come if you've not looked at it for a few hours or a day or two, and then you come back and you look at it and you say, wow, I did that. That is when you stop brushing it in. But that is the price I'm willing to pay for an amazing, amazing image. Like this one, and this one. At the end of the day, I believe it makes my clients happy. And my job here is to make sure that every single time they look at it, they smile. And that's the same impact I want you to create for your clients or your audience. So weeks or days does not matter. What matters is if I feel, they will feel. And that is the goal when I'm retouching. I must feel without getting attached to an image. Tip number 5, my simple color balance setup. Let's talk about color balance. Here's my setup. It's simple. I have an LG monitor which is not color calibrated. The large TV you see here is for color correcting my films. And the DaVinci panel is for the films as well. But for photos, all I use is this monitor and my mouse. No expensive tools, no specialized calibration hardware. Once I'm done with my images, I do export them and view them on different monitors like my iPhone, my iPad, my laptop, my son's computer, my friend's computer. And if there are still some changes to be made, then I'll do so. And the fact of the matter is that your audience is not going to see it in a color calibrated monitor at all. Neither are your clients. You are going to see it. So the best way is to view it on different monitors and see whether you're pleased with every single one of them. Now you may not be 100% wow on all the monitors, but even if you hit 3 out of 5, that's good enough. Just imagine how many people are going to view your image. The world is a big place. How could you make sure every single one of them is viewing it on the color accurate monitors? It's impossible. You don't have to be a slave to tools and gear. Use them when needed, but never let them control your creativity. It's not about the gear, it's the decisions you make and how intentional you are with those colors. And that's why the trick I'm about to show you is so powerful. You won't need to color calibrate your monitor to get stunning results. Final tip, the big reveal. If you want to color correct your image just so it's accurate the way the camera companies and the color correcting tool companies say it should be, here is exactly what you can do. Open up Capture One or any other photography software and then go to your temperature slider and slide each one of them, the red, the blue, and the green, one on top of each other so your histogram starts to look white for the most part. I mean, you'll never get exactly the same throughout the entire histogram, but you will get parts of it. So if most of it is white, that's it. Job done. Your color will be accurate and you won't need any monitor calibration. Now I know some people are going to be mad at me for making white balance so inexpensive and so simple. But here's the fact. I've been doing this for fashion, for wildlife, for huge brands that I've shoot for over 1,000 years. And I don't plan on stopping now or changing my ways. I don't calibrate my monitor. I simply look at my histogram, try to make most of it white, and that's what I present to my clients in fashion. And I say, here it is. And mind you, fashion is so color accurate because, they produce clothing and I have to make sure that what we have shot matches what is in real life. I'm not going to say that in the past 100 years I've not had a complaint. Of course, my designers are very, very picky. And when they have complained, what I do is I get them to send the garment over to my retoucher. Once my retoucher looks at it, he matches it, prints it out, matches it again, and the color comes out perfect. Or if it doesn't, then we keep color correcting it until it does. but I have not yet had one wildlife fine art photography client say to me, "The colors are not accurate, Ejaz." Never, ever, ever. If you take one thing out of this video, let it be this: you are the artist, not the camera companies, not the companies that create all these tools for color accuracy. I'm not saying that their tools are not important. I think the tools are very, very important, but just as a baseline, and they're not built for creating mood or feelings. That is your job as an artist, as a photographer. That is your job and nobody else's. So who cares if these tools say your image is too blue or too orange? It's not for them to decide. It's your canvas. It's your decision how you want your image to make other people feel. And for God's sake, let's start practicing our God-given right to be an artist and not be slaves to numbers, accuracy, and normalcy. Alright guys, let's see what we've done here. We started with what white balance actually is and why it matters. I showed you why I lock my images at 5600K, how I use temperature and tint to shape mood, how I blend warm and cool versions for depth, and my simple color balance setup. Then I gave you the big reveal, the no calibration method I have used for fashion and wildlife for decades. If you use these techniques, I promise you, you will not just see more accurate colors, but you will see images that make people feel and make them feel the way you want them to. Remember, your gear doesn't define you, your creative choices do. I speak about the creative choices on this channel all the time. So here is a playlist, go watch them and practice your God-given right. Alright guys, until next time, speak to you soon.